Married for more than 15 years.
Congratulations.
I have been in a side relationship that my husband recently found out about. How can I convince my husband to let me keep the side dude?
Well, first of all, he shouldn't. You need to change that convince word to manipulate.
Ooh.
We're not gonna play those games right now. You took a vow. You took vows. You stood before God or whatever it is you believe in and said that you were going to love this man, his sickness and through health, for rich and for poor. You said that you committed whenever you took that vow. You committed to be there even in the hard times, even in the times where you were not fully emotionally fulfilled. You still took on that position to say that I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to communicate. I'm not going to breach the trust in this marriage. You lack marital integrity. And if you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person as well. So my next point to make is the audacity must be on sale right now for you to be able to say, how can I convince my husband, a man at that, convince my husband to let me still have a side relationship as if I did not betray this man, as if I did not hurt this man, as if I did not dishonor this man, as if I did not disrespect this man, and you want to ask for something? You want to ask for what it seems like more of a favor because it's only going to work in your favor. It's nothing that is going to work for him. I don't like when we play these games like this. You entered into what you two believe was a monogamous agreement, and you made it a polyamorous thing.
Ooh.
You did.
Ooh.
Let me tell you something else that you did. Let's talk about the lack of responsibility. I'm gonna tell you one more thing because I'm sure some other panelists have something to say. This is the problem that I have. Whenever you open up your marriage to something that somebody else did not consent to, if your side piece has depression or anxiety, anything like that, there's a spiritual exchange that takes place when you go sleep with somebody else that you now have invited into your home. So part of the reason why your marriage is not happy is because you were lusting over the fence to begin with. You invited that into your marriage. You corrupted your home. The best thing for you to do, because he does have the right to leave you, the best thing that you could do, the responsible thing you can do, is either end that relationship on the side or leave that man alone and let somebody else find him.
Clap it up, clap it.
Shalom, shalom. All praise be to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, B'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great most, and that we're well. Shalom to the elect. As you heard it there, man. Again, Eve is always on a roll when it comes to wickedness. Eve and Esau, man. As you saw there, basically Eve is trying to justify her wicked, adulterous behaviors. Yeah. And hey, you had another Eve, a black woman, basically giving her some facts, man. Lying her ass up with truth, which that's in the scriptures as well. Told the aged woman, told the younger women how to love their husbands and their children. And that's funny because that woman that got up she looks kind of more mature or older than the woman that was on the panel. She looked more of a younger lady. So that's a great shame. But anyways, let's see what the scripture says. So let's get straight into adultery. Okay. What is adultery? Adultery is when a man sleeps with a woman that is already in a relationship, married. Marriage is sex, a woman having sex with another man already. If another man sleeps with that woman that is already in a relationship, that's adultery. You're having relations with another man's woman. Yeah, that's adultery. Okay. And adultery for a woman would be if a woman is stepping out on her man, cheating on her man, sleeping with another person while with her man, that's adultery. Okay. Now in the scriptures, men can have multiple women as long as those women are single and only belong to him. Okay? You can't have another man's woman. That's adultery. Okay? And a woman can only be to her man. She can't branch out. There's no such thing as what that lady called poly relationship, whatever they call it. But anyways, Leviticus 20 and 10, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, yeah, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be unalived. Okay, that's how dangerous adultery is. Okay, people don't understand how dangerous and detrimental adultery is to people, families, communities, society. Okay, because remember, a society comes from a community, comes from a neighborhood, and it comes from a family. Okay, when you dissect it. So let me briefly talk about the dangers of adultery. What can it cause? So adultery, now you've put yourself in a high risk of spreading STDs, STIs, sexual transmitted infections and diseases. I'm pretty sure that everybody will agree that they don't want that. You never know what you can get. The Lord can give you new dangerous STIs, like what's going on with flesh-eating STIs. That's scary. Yeah, parasites just eating your whole insides and your rod falling off, or your titties falling off. I don't know. I don't want to know. Okay, so that's what adultery can bring. So that's one. That's already a red flag. Number two, you've broken up the family. Yeah? You've broken up someone's family. Now you've created dysfunction in the family. You create jealousy, trust issues. Okay? Okay? Now the children that were once happy with their daddy, now they're wondering why daddy don't come home anymore, because he can't live with this crazy ass, adulterous, wicked, demon. You see? So now you've actually caused a form of child abuse. You've caused child neglect by you pushing away the father, because the father's not supposed to stay in that situation, of adultery, fornication. Okay. Now, we know some rare cases, yeah, forgiveness and things can reconcile, but it's in most cases when it comes to adultery, it's almost impossible to reconcile. Because remember, trust issues. Now, guess what? Let's say you reconcile. Now the man's thinking, oh, look at it. You see, now he's hurt. He's like, what to say? Like his manhood. Now he's thinking, oh, can I perform sexually better than the previous guy that had sex with her? See, you messed up his mind. Is she gonna take advantage of me again? Is she gonna commit adultery with me again? Is she you see, you just messed up the person's mind. Okay. This is why it was punishable by being unalived, because it creates so much chaos and dysfunction. But anyways, Proverbs 30 and 20. Yeah, because in the video, she was justifying herself, right? Proverbs 30 and 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. This is her character. She eateth, yeah, and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. What is that talking about? It's showing you that these wicked, adulterous women do not want to take accountability and think that they didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, that's why, if you notice, in this especially modern era, it's very hard to hear a woman say "I'm sorry" and really mean it. Yeah, it's hard for a woman to take accountability and apologize. Yeah, wickedness, man. That's an adulterous woman. You got to stay away from these demons. You got to know how to pick. Yeah, and I know it's hard because it's slim. It's almost slim to none, especially in the West. Feminism and all of that. Sexual liberation, all this madness and ideologies. I don't need no man. We know it all, man. Yeah, these women are wicked, man. Okay. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 25:19, straight to the point. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Yeah. Women, hey, the level of wickedness that women can get up to is ridiculous, man. Can you imagine how many men that have been raising children that they thought was theirs, and 10 years later they find out, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, they find out it wasn't them, and that man has a bond with that child, thinking that was theirs, and you basically just fabricated a story, you manipulated the man, you know, by force to take that child. And you see, they'll gaslight, or they'll attack your manhood and say, when you find out, it's like, well, you already have a bond, and he's still your child, and you see what I'm saying? So now, trying to make the man feel guilty. Well, really and truly, you're supposed to find the real father and let him take care of his kids. See, but they like to guilt trip men. It's dangerous, man. This is a wicked world we live in. Yeah. I hear comments of men and all of that go for it, saying they should make it mandatory when a child's born, you do a DNA test. But that's righteous. Yeah, we need to know what line the child is from, man. This is an effed up world. And I'm not saying that you can't be a stepfather, you can't look after children. That's your choice, but you shouldn't be forced and manipulated to do that, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, man. These women are getting away with it because, these wicked elites made it this way. These wicked laws and injustice and imbalance in society, man. Women have so many rights and power to suppress and oppress men. Okay, that's why things are going on. Yep, this is Amos 7:17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city. Okay. And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land. So that's, obviously we experienced that multiple times in different captivities, but it's even repeating itself again here, in this day and age, in this empire of Esau. Okay? Thy wife shall be an harlot in the city. So in modern terms, a thought, man, T-H-O-T. Outline of biblical usage. Zawana. Yeah, Zawana. To commit fornication, be a harlot, play the harlot. To be a harlot, act as a harlot, commit fornication. Yeah. To commit adultery, to be a prostitute, prosy. to be unfaithful, you see, to play the harlot, to cause to commit adultery, to force into prosy, to commit fornication. Are they fed and therefore wanton, usually of a female, and less often of simple fornication. Okay. Whoredom. You can see those words over there. YouTube usually doesn't like those words when you mention it, but you know what it is, right? Selling themselves, or just speaking and dealing with multiple men. Okay, and that's one of the curses of social media, man. It's give the women so much exposure and opportunity, and feeds off their addiction of attention. You see, it's crazy stories out here. People's women selling ass, or they're on OF, exposing their private parts, doing, fornication and abominable acts. So many broken relationships and families out here, man. Okay, and it's become normal, and that's how you know we're in the end times, because as it says in Matthew 24, basically, let me get it. Matthew 24, what does it say? Matthew 24 verse 12, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, sin is going to be inflated, will increase heavily. The love of many shall wax cold. You see, this is the last days we're living in. Iniquity shall be abound. Iniquity represents sin and wickedness, has increased dramatically. The love of many shall wax cold. That's why you see, as an example, men and women are completely divided. That's what feminism caused, man. Yeah. But anyways, with that, man, hope you've been edified. All praise be to Yahweh, Bashim Shab, Shim Kakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostle, great most of the rule well. Shalom. Let me read the last one. This is Matthew 19. Straight to the point, verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. And that's the thing, which is adultery. Right? Now, when you read up, obviously, it talks about, in the law, you had Jakes, getting rid of their women for, petty reasons. Obviously, yeah, you can have multiple wives, but you're not supposed to disband your wife for a petty reason. You know what I mean? But the exception was, if you was to get rid of your wife, was fornication, adultery, man. She's sleeping with another man, right? Yeah, that's a big straight no. And shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. So whoever gets with that woman that you already dealt with is committing adultery also. But guess what? In the world we live in, adultery is running rampant. See, this is why we need the mercy of the Lord. Because guess what? You might like a lady, and yeah, she might be single. So you can deal with her, but guess what? Before you, she's had multiple men. She's not a virgin. Okay? So technically, we're all adulterers. That's why we need mercy. And that's why we need the Lord to return and reform this wicked earth in righteousness. As it talks in the book of Peter, earth and heaven that dwelleth in righteousness. That's what we need. Yeah, but anyways, with that, shalom.